Hey everyone, Kyle here. This is a video of me making an Apple iPhone 7 case. This is the case that I made earlier for myself as a test one. I'm going to be making the same type of thing but out of Horween leather and brown instead of black. I'm recording all of this after the fact, by the way. So I start out by cutting things to shape and kind of grouping all the cutting tasks together. This is a piece of black leather that's going to be on the inside. They'll protect where the card comes through the front of the case so it doesn't rub up against the phone. You can see the little pattern there on the left. I'm double checking where to skive. And I'm checking on mine to make sure that that's right. So I don't want the skiving to go all the way to the edge because the stitching is going to be there, and I don't want the stitching size to get closer to the phone at the bottom. So all skiving is making the leather thinner in a certain spot. So that's what I'm doing here. And this is a French skive, which is very, very sharp. I got it from Goods Japan, I'm pretty sure. So this is the main pattern of the body. So I'm using the Horween. This knife I'm using is one that I got off of Etsy, and it's awesome. It's sharpened on one side, so it pushes against the ruler that you're using. I had a scalpel before that I was using to cut leather, and it would like drift away from the ruler a lot, which I didn't like. So this solves that problem. I do a lot of double and triple checking when I'm measuring to make sure that I don't F anything up. I still make a pretty big mistake during this build, and I have to take it all apart and re-sew most of it. I cut that all out because it's extremely boring to watch someone sew leather twice. And the part that I did keep in is sped up quite a bit, I think 20 times. So here I'm just taking a scratch awl and marking the outside, making sure that it's square. Double checking again, and then using my knife to cut it. And I can get the big piece of leather off the table. Again, using a scratch awl here to mark the edge. And then I usually like to have the ruler blocking the part that I'm going to keep, so the scrap piece will be outside of the ruler. So if I do drift away from the ruler, it doesn't ruin the piece that I'm cutting. So that's all cut. So I'm marking the top of that because I skived the bottom. Making sure it's the right size and aligning it, and then I put little poke holes. Oh, I do that later. So right now, the iPhone 6s is basically the same size as the iPhone 7. The guy that I'm giving this to, or is buying this from me, has an iPhone 6s right now and may upgrade to a 7, so I'm making sure. The one that I built for myself was a little bit tight, and I had to stretch it out quite a bit, so I made the stitching a little bit closer to the edges by about 0.1 millimeters on each side. So that's why I was adjusting my wing divider. I also cut out me poking all the holes with my pricking irons. I have to do that on the floor because if I do it on top of the table acts like as a drum and it makes it really, really loud. So I do it over off to the right, off screen. So now I'm poking all the holes where there's going to be stitch lines and a cut line. And I just poke it in so I know where the beginning and end of each line is, and then I use the scratch awl to connect those two dots. That's what I'm doing there. So that's the only cut line on the front, and that's what your card would get inserted into. So the step that I forgot to do was after I do this cut, I'm supposed to skive the back of this so that the card can lay more flush. And I definitely forgot to do that. So watching this back, I'm yelling at myself to to go in and do the right thing, but I know it's not going to. I'm realizing now, watching this back also, that I could probably just use the French skive to cut this straight line instead of using a knife halfway like I do it. Probably make it cleaner. So scratch in 2 lines there. Those are going to be stitched. That attaches the front to the inside. Double checking my pattern again. So here's everything's pricking ironed. You can see all the little holes. And this is the push hole. Using a 1/2 inch drive punch. Right now I just do little circles so I can see it, and I push them in just so they're visible, and then I go off to the side and mash those holes out. And drawing a line between the apexes of each circle. Cutting that. And I usually go like halfway and then I spin it around and do the other half. So now I'm making sure the mark is where I want it to be. This is my mark that I had made. I don't remember the name of the machining shop that I did it at, but I sent them a vector file of a logo that I had designed, and they were able to make a really nice brand for me. I just push it most of the time because when I use a hammer it often like jumps, so I got a good impression. Fast forward time. So now I'm just applying some glue, and then I'm going to sew the front to the inside. So I'm putting a card in there just to make sure that it fits and that the glue doesn't stick the front to the back. I actually have to undo this stitch. When I discover my error. So this is actually after the error, and I already have one side already sewn, re-sewn. You can see that the top edge of the case is now rounded as well. I did that after I had finished sewing the first time, realized my error, undid everything, and now I'm finishing the sewing again, getting close to the end. The last couple stitches, usually I go back and forth on the last hole a couple of times, and for these I go like back one stitch, then forward, and poke it through the inside, and then I can tie the thread off so the knot is inside the little loop at the bottom. And I cut that off and I burn it. test fitting. Now here I'm starting to burnish. I originally had tried to do it with my drill. I have a drill burnisher, but my drill's battery is all effed up, so I either need a new battery or I need a new charger. So wasn't able to use that today. And here's the final products. This is the black one that I made for myself, and this is the brown one that I'm making for Dan. So yeah, that's it. iPhone case out of Horween.